Hello kids, it's Mr. Agee. Today is Wednesday, May 27th. Your assignment for today is days 3 and 4, and we are in week 3 here. Remember, there are no page numbers in the math section, so make sure you find week 3, day 3 and 4. And you've got pretty straightforward work today again. You've got a story problem, and they give you 4 choices for a way to find the solution to that story problem. And I don't think you're going to have much trouble with that. If you do, of course, give me a call or a text. This is kind of a thinking activity in which you can make a case for any choice that you have, as long as it's reasonable. So you have to choose a number in the picture that you don't think belongs in the group, and you have to say why it doesn't belong in the group. And there's not one right answer. There are many answers that would be correct if you use appropriate reasoning. So you could choose the 2 and say why it doesn't belong in a group with 1, 3, and 5. You could choose 5 and explain why that doesn't belong in the group. There really is no single correct answer as long as you provide reasoning that makes sense. It's a thinking activity. Next, we've got a pattern. You've seen these with stars and boxes before. It shows you stages 1 through 3. It asks you to draw what you think 4 might look like, and you should label how many cubes are in each stage. We've seen these before many times. We've got a couple of telling time to the minute problems. They give you choices in A and B, and in the repeat of A and B, which should probably be C and D, they ask you to write the time that is shown on each clock. Here we've got another fraction talk problem. The last time we encountered one of these, I let you off the hook a little bit, and it is a little bit beyond the 3rd grade standards. I do think that this picture in particular, is a little bit easier than the one that we faced before. Just to give you a starting point, you can see if we consider this square one whole, so the whole square, the outside boundaries of the square makes one whole, there's a dividing line right down the center, okay? So that means that all together, everything on this side is going to be a half, and everything on this side is going to be a half. Well, here's a clue right here, because this half is divided in half. And we've talked about what half of a half is, and that would be what would be represented in this square inside the square. Now, taking that knowledge, we could look at this square, which is the same size as the one above it, but it's got a piece missing. And if you start like putting in some dotted lines that are square shaped, that give you more squares, you'll have an idea of how you equally divided the shape. It's a little bit tricky. If you feel a lack of confidence, or you are just like you can't figure out how to label these parts, don't be ashamed. Just do your best. If you really want some help with it, text or call, and I can walk you through it. And you know, the same strategy that we used on this right side, where we've got the right half is divided in half. Well, if you look over here, the left half is divided in half as well. So even though this piece here is a different shape than this piece, it's still half of the half. And so this would be half of a half, this would be half of a half. So you have to think to yourself, what is half of a half? And so I think that this one is a little bit simpler than the one that we faced before. Moving on. You've got the last problem in this assignment is a telling time problem. You basically have to circle the digital time that matches the analog time. And then it gives you a fraction problem if you shade between the hands when it is 3 o'clock. So you might want to think, what does a clock at 3 o'clock look like? What would the fraction of the shaded part be if between the hands are shaded? You might want to even draw the clock and draw 3 o'clock and shade in between the minute hand and the hour hand, and that would give you your picture of your fraction, and then you have to recognize how much of the whole circle is shaded. That'll do it for our uploaded math lessons in this home learning experience. The teachers have allowed for you choosing the assignment that you do tomorrow. Friday is still a related arts day, and then that wraps up all of your assignment work from the packets. Here in our house, we are going to continue working through the packets with both Harper and Annie as we work our way through the summertime, just to prevent any sort of drain in our learning before next year. But I hope you enjoyed your time with your families, and I also hope that everything is back to normal, so that we can get this show back on the road. Thank you, and do your best. I miss you. Good luck.